In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to a place at the table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
Welcome to a place at the table and to another variety menu. If I say, give her a fan, and I say menopause, can you guess what's to come?
Okay, what's to come? If they don't know, well, I'm sure they will also find out. There's no napping at the table. I'm in watchman mode today, and I'm monitoring activities around the national budget.
Yinka, you're monitoring the budget. Wow. Well, some might say, now you see it, now you don't. But it brings to mind my topic about the fleeting nature of life and the passing of All Well.
Funke, that's quite sad. Life is fleeting indeed, which is why we must invest prudently whilst we still can. I'm holding up the example of two techpreneurs.
Zumah, it looks like these Detty December traders could do with some lessons in how not to kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
By now, you may have guessed what is lined up for the first course. Either way, as Yinka said, there's no napping at the table. So, shine your eye. I saw a very responsible woman, mid-40s, prayerful, organized, nearly cry because her fan stopped working. Not NEPA, the fan. Minutes later, she was hugging the air conditioner like long-lost family. Another minute, she snapped at her child, then apologized, then started fanning herself inside an air-conditioned room. At that point, I knew this isn't attitude or madness. This is perimenopause. If you see a woman in her 40s, don't ask, why are you behaving like this? Please, give her a fan. Rechargeable if you value peace. Now, let's talk facts. Perimenopause is the transition phase before menopause. It can start from late 30s, usually in the 40s. Hormones start moving mad. Up today, down tomorrow. Missing in action next week. Symptoms: hot flashes, heat that comes suddenly like Lagos traffic anger, mood swings. You laugh, cry, pray, shout, sometimes all at once. Brain fog. She enters a room and forgets why she came. Sleeplessness, anxiety, sudden body changes, zero tolerance for rubbish, professional or personal. And yes, urinary incontinence. You see her running, stopping sharply, crossing her legs like a runway model, laughing outside, clenching destiny inside. Small cough, problem. Small sneeze, emergency. Now let's talk about what nobody likes to see. For some women, libido drops. For others, it suddenly rises. Either way, couples panic. He thinks she's no longer interested. She thinks something is wrong with her. Silence grows. Resentment follows. Some marriages crack here. Some divorces straight back here. Quietly. Not because love ended, but because biology was misunderstood. Yet, what does society say? She has changed. She's too emotional. That one is too much. Oh. She should pray more. Life has always dealt women heavy blows. Puberty, childbirth, caregiving, grief. Perimenopause is another load made heavier by ignorance. Let's be clear. Perimenopause is not stubbornness. It's not rebellion, not spiritual failure. It is biology asking for understanding. If you love a woman in her 40s, give grace. Lower pressure. Adjust expectation. And please, sit her near the air conditioner or fan before she fights for it. She's not mad. She's transitioning. And transition seasons deserve compassion, not commentary or judgments.
Thank you very much for this advocacy. It's a very important conversation because a lot of people, half of the population will go through it, but we still don't know a lot about it. The conversations are not enough. To all the women on this table, I owe you fans. Yeah. Fans, Ronke said we should give you fans, so yeah, we'll give you fans. There is a reason you don't get to see a lot of women in top management, and it's largely because they just can't deal with it anymore. And I've been having conversations with older women, and I ask, so why did you leave? They just go, I just couldn't deal with it anymore, and they just leave. Because even the corporates themselves, they don't understand this.
Yes,
a lot of marriages has ended because of this, because the wife is acting up, the husband does not understand. The wife herself, she doesn't understand it herself. So again, it's an important conversation, and we need to keep having it, and we need to keep amplifying it down to the grassroots, you know.
It's okay to talk about it. In the past, you would not know anything. Many of us got to know about menopause when we started experiencing it. So you see the likes of Bimbo Akintola talking openly about menopause. You see someone like Betty Rabo talking about menopause. These people go on a show and they start to, you know, tell the experiences. And if you, I don't know even how to explain this, because it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You begin to see your body as very strange. One of the most common physical signs is that your face changes. What is that thing? Your face suddenly changes. You have patches on your face. You go darker than normal. You can't sleep. You can't, you know, insomnia. You're irritated. And men just think, oh, or your staff will think, ah, she's coming, she's coming, she's coming, not knowing that it's physiological. And I'm just glad that women are talking about it to bring more information and more awareness to our men to understand it better and to empathize with women. It's a very difficult time of a woman's life because it marks the end of the reproductive years. So if you're talking about menstruation, you're also talking about menopause. Now, every woman, older women are talking about menopause.
Let me take Funke on, because I think that for men, we need to understand a lot better. I think for spouses in a relationship, maybe they can understand because the woman can be a little bit more
irritable,
maybe
verbal,
a little bit more open to say, look, I just don't know, but I think this is menopause or whatever.
If she knows.
Many of us don't know. Okay, I'm
If she
saying
knows.
us because I'm in the range, right? There are people who get into menopause at,
No
menopause
idea.
at 40.
So the challenge for me is that in a workplace, for instance, or in a professional space, where you have to deal with rules, procedures, and things like that that don't necessarily give some recognition for your hormonal imbalances.
Yep.
So how do you as a woman communicate to people in a professional setting that my behavior might be irritable?
Because
So please don't judge me on the basis of that. I think that for me, it's very
Most
important.
women don't even know.
They have no
because there's
idea.
little
Even if
about
you
it.
know, it is personal to you. I think what we
how
can
do
advise...
people respond? I'm trying to see in what
Action
way
men or
that
couples
we
can
can
support.
respond. Not just men, all right, or younger women as well,
Support.
who are looking at you, who don't understand. Why is she just, you know, irritable for no reason?
You know, she
You know,
talked
and all
about
that.
perimenopause. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
still menstruating though.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you see
Yes.
the onset, you just know that you're sad. You're indescribably sad.
I would say...
The challenge for me is it possible that in trying to name it, women can use that as an excuse for anything? To just say, so if you have a very bad
not at
behavior,
all.
you just say,
So,
oh,
no,
it's
I
because I'm
don't think so.
perimenopause
And
or whatever.
I will say this.
Gbenga, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Gbenga, please hold on. I'm saying, how can we support women going through this? Empathy, kindness. The first step is awareness. We need to know about it. So the one we see a woman in the age range exhibiting such symptoms, who is not typically like that.
The challenge is that the symptoms are not homogeneous. They're not the
Yes.
same
No,
for
yes,
every,
across
every
board.
woman.
But if
so
you see-
they're different. You're talking about hormonal this, libido high, libido low. You know, it's not homogeneous. So
Basically,
how
anything
do
can
So you don't need those ones
So
in
you
the
can actually
workplace,
put everything into that box. That's what I'm saying.
You know, when you just see someone acting differently than they typically do in that age range, the first thing is to empathize and, you know, and track and check in with them. Like, are you fine? You know, before we start judging or start applying consequences, the most important way to support is being aware and empathizing.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, like you said, our men, so I want to appeal to our women to always go searching and ask questions, what is wrong with me? I agree totally that many people don't even know that that is what is wrong with them.
Exactly. they
So I
don't.
want to appeal that, because I won't lie to you, it was almost 2 years after somebody very, very close to me that I realized that the reason why she was having brain fog was because of menopause. And I didn't know. You know, her own major was brain fog, you know, and she did not even know herself.
That's
and
the
I
thing.
didn't know. When I knew, I had to apologize that, oh, so all the while that, so I want to say to our women also, go searching and know more about your body structure so that, especially spouses, you can say, Alaye is like, and for us, always ask questions when you see people, especially our old people, ask questions first before you raise a bar. Emotional transition is very, very serious. It's like a warfare. That phase to pass, very, 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 you know. And what to not make it worse, social perception. You know, we perceive wrongly. You just assume, or you just, especially if that woman or if that boss or that staff had been one kind before, if she's the kind that, you know, misbehave and so when that time comes, you won't know that this is what is happening. You will just easily attribute her misbehavior to the past experiences you have been having with her.
Okay. Being informed leads to emotional intelligence, which in turn enables us to add value to the lives of others and to society at large.
A case of 1 + 1 = 2. If only the national budget were as balanced as you're thinking, Ronke. Last September, on a place at the table, I asked a simple but uncomfortable question. Are our budget rituals or are they real? That monologue drew from the IMF paper, Fiscal Forecasting Errors in Nigeria, which established that our budgets are plagued by large systemic forecasting errors. Revenues are routinely overestimated, driven by inflated oil production assumptions, while capital expenditure is consistently under-executed. In short, our budgets are detached from reality. I argue that Nigeria needs budgets grounded in realism, not fantasy, because at stake is not just accounting, it's the integrity of budgeting and governance itself. The reaction was mixed. Some were critical, pointing to assurances from the president that Nigeria had indeed met revenue targets. Fast forward to today, the facts are finally caught up with the rhetoric. The federal government, via the Minister of Finance, and the President admitted that not only did we not meet our revenue target, we've been running multiple budgets for the past 2 years. In his presentation at the 2026 budget to the National Assembly, the President said, "We are terminating the habit of running 3 budgets on 1. To do this, he announced 4 clear objectives. 1. A hardline deadline of the 31st of March 2026 to end multiple budget implementations and close all outstanding capital liabilities from prior budgets. From April 2026, Nigeria is to operate a single clean budget cycle. 2. The repeal and reenactment of prior budget acts to legally reset the system. 3. Stricter fiscal discipline and tighter implementation controls. 4. A better alignment of budget with the calendar and revenue cycles. To signal seriousness, 2026 budget assumptions were notably restrained. Oil productions at 1.8 million barrels per day, oil price at $64 per barrel, an exchange rate of 1,400 to the dollar, all within defensible benchmarks. Unfortunately, this isn't enough. Realism at the executive level doesn't necessarily translate to pragmatism at the legislative level. The National Assembly has shown a troubling habit of discarding benchmarks, inserting thousands of projects into the capital budget and padding the budget with trillions. If the federal government is serious about budget integrity, then this practice must end decisively and permanently. Until budgets reflect what we can fund, implement, and account for, they remain rituals.
We are too optimistic in our forecasting in Nigeria, and I'm glad that we are going back to we are coming to realism now. And there's usually some opaqueness in our financials. It is more like the more you look, the less you see. So I'm glad that, we are reenacting the Budget Act. Hopefully this will bring in new beginnings for the Nigeria economy as a whole. If Nigeria were a corporate and we have consistently had budgets that underperform, there would have been sanctions.
Sure.
But again, it is Nigeria, it's a country. There is no one person being held responsible for the non-performance of the budget. But hopefully with the new act and then the new objective defined by the president, we will have better outcomes this year.
Anytime we talk about budget, my conclusion is we are not serious, we are not ready. Because I wonder how you make money and the first thing you do is how to dress your babariga and how to buy SUVs and how to change your furniture. We have 109 senators and 360 House of Rep members, if I'm correct. Not up to 500 people in that house. And you see how much they budgeted, how much they give to them to squander. We paid them to sleep in that red and green chamber. So for me, there's nothing new. I'm telling you, there's absolutely nothing new in this budget compared to what is coming before. Look at the debt, 15 point something out of 58. So what are we talking about? And the only...
Deficit?
Huh?
The deficit, you're talking about a deficit?
Yes, and the only thing we are talking about is oil. Who is talking about mining? Who is talking about cocoa? Who is talking about agricultural produce? Who is talking about intellectual properties? Who is talking about tech? Do you understand? So we are not... Over $400 billion is for California state alone in 2026. And we are talking a whole nation, the most populous black nation in the world. We are talking about... So for me, we are still joking. Trust me, we are still joking.
Well, for me, I'm going to take off from where you stopped. Yinka, you said something. You said this is about budget integrity. But then you said our budgets are detached from reality. Then you ended up your monologue and said, until budgets reflect what we can fund, implement, and account for, they remain rituals. Rituals, that's what we see them as. Even I, as aware as I am, each time they talk about budget, I'm wondering, and so how does it trickle down to me? How do I benefit from this? And it's not just me. If I am thinking that, imagine what the other people on the streets will be thinking about. Just as Gbenga said, oil. There's a detachment. That's number one. Number two, you talked about Nigeria operating a single clear budget. What does that mean? And yes, you've also highlighted that most times the legislature inserts stuff into the budget. Thank you. Budget padding. So have we changed? If we haven't.
Have we repented?
It's a ritual.
That's why we're highlighting this, because the executive seems to want to do the right thing, but the budget needs to be passed by the legislature. And the thing they do every year is that they insert all these thousands of projects and they pad the budget in the process. And in order to accommodate all those they are padding, they change the benchmarks. All those...
they keep pressing the necks of civil service
exactly.
organizations.
And what I'm saying is that practice has to end. If we're going to have budgets that are realistic, then they have to... The executive has to insist.
The culprit here is not the executive now, it's the legislature.
Our
representatives.
The executive are also culprit because they are the ones that present the budget. Yeah.
That will only stop the day the strength of the nation called Nigerian youth. We sit down to understand their fatherland's constitution and hold their leaders responsible in terms of budget, not comparing who is greater than each other on social media.
Thank
they are very, very responsible.
Thank you.
Ronke?
I lean towards this side, and it's often said that if you fail to plan, that you plan to fail. I've never really trusted the credibility of our numbers when it comes to the budget in Nigeria. And my own metric, my own specific metric is always education. So when I look at the budget and I see what is allocated to education in comparison to the actual budget and what other practices in other countries. And when I look around and see that maybe just Lagos State and a few areas, there's change, I keep wondering, it's like moving things on a chessboard. How credible is it? It's like watching 3 movies at the same time. I find it confusing. I find it that it doesn't translate into everyday life.
It doesn't.
So if something doesn't translate to everyday life, if you put a budget out, if you start a road construction and then you stop, like say for example, the coastal road, for example, is beautiful. We can see the changes, but we can already see the mess already. And I don't even think that thing is how many months old. So where is the money to complete the, it doesn't translate to reality. So that's my own contribution. Let's just
detached from reality.
Completely. So we just need to marry it together so that people can trust it and know that, yeah, they're on our side. But for now, nah.
Rituals are ultimately empty gestures. Might I suggest that there is a lack of appetite for rituals in 2026?
Yinka, you have rightly read the mood. With the tales of loss that have ushered in 2026, what is needed is purpose and impact, not empty rituals. Nollywood actor and director All Well Ademola's passing shook Nigeria's creative industry. Her final social media post made it even more tragic. She radiated so much beauty and charm, and then with quiet irony, asked people to affirm seeing the new year in a song. Hours later, she passed, suddenly, a grim reminder of the thin veil between breath and silence. And lately, I've heard many stories of sudden passings, 1 minute alive, the next gone, entire nuclear families lost in a single day. In Makoko, amidst the chaos of the Lagos State demolition, 2 infants passed. 2026 arrived bearing a dense cloud of loss, reminding us of the words of the late Bishop Desmond Tutu. Our humanity is bound up in one another's, that we can only be human together. This grief became communal, whether we choose it or not. And the algorithm played its part in this communal grieving. Orwell's death became content. Once you viewed a reel, you got more. So watching the spectacle made me wax philosophical in a way only loss can. Here was an accomplished woman without a husband or child. The ultimate God forbid situation to some women. The quiet source of dread and anticipatory tears for many who wonder what will become of them if they passed without offspring. Yet hers was a beautiful, well-coordinated burial. This reflection is therefore for men and women without children, those who have tried repeatedly and drawn blanks, those who have endured miscarriages, and those who have suffered child loss. All who now walk through life with the word childless hanging over them as a sentence and a description. The Bible verse, "None shall be barren in the land," is often wielded like a noose. But Orwell wasn't barren. She was fruitful in other ways. The candlelight procession bore witness to that. Multitudes trooped out to honor her. And so in this earthly journey, there is no art to choosing one's existence. Fulfilling purpose and impacting lives are the ultimate markers of a life well spent. So the best we can do is live joyfully, aware that one day our wealth, wisdom, wants, and even our name will finally come to rest.
May your soul rest in peace.
May our soul rest in peace.
I think one thing we need to do more in Nigeria is investigate cause of death. I don't think we do that enough because sudden death for young people, relatively young people, are not normal. So it's important for us to investigate, document appropriately, and take learnings from it. Also, I need to point out that, like you said, your legacy is not defined by your children. It is defined by the work of your hand while you were alive, and also the way you engaged with the world around you while you were alive.
Yes, I join many to condole with the family. It was a shocking loss that many of us got to find out. The beauty now is that people are beginning to realize that what defines you and your life is not necessarily what you have reproduced biologically. Is really the content of your ideas and how you have been able to bring that to life. A lot of accomplished women in the world are, never had kids. One that comes to mind quickly is Mother Teresa.
And the former German chancellor.
Yes, the former German chancellor.
They're quite a handful.
And even Jesus never had kids. Yeah, true. I mean, because we have to also balance it in terms of gender. So the idea that, okay, I mean, you must have children as a representation of your value is not, it's really not grounded in fact. It's just basically grounded in sentiment.
Yeah, because we're socialized into that.
But that's where we are. And I had a very, very interesting conversation with my wife when we were just talking about our parents and how to celebrate them after life. And it's a very interesting conversation because it's not a case, all of my talk, they're going to go every day. Everybody is going to check out of this world one day. So we're just looking at, okay, so what do we do for them? Now, we come from a culture where the whole idea of death and burial must come with a lot of felicitation.
Fanfare.
Fanfare and all the, especially if the person is old. And in the process, what you find is that a lot of people who didn't participate in the life of these people, when they were sick, nobody was there and all that, they will be the one dictating the terms to say, this is how you must bury them, this is what you must do, and that must do. And then, so we said, look, that in our own, we have to start to change the culture, shift that culture, to say that, look, what is important is what they are remembered for. So how do we celebrate them? Change the whole concept of celebration from that whole felicitation thing to say, can we go and set up a scholarship in their name?
Which is what they're trying to do for All Well. They're creating a foundation for her.
During the burial, I read some certain things, but one interview that caught my attention was that of Said Balogun and Rotimi.
That's right.
And Said, the summary of what he said was that this woman is highly visionary and innovative. That even him, that is her boss, that he learned so many things by working with her. Funke, your advocacy is, let me say this, is deep. We are carried away, especially in this part of the world, that people respect you based on what you drive. Even pastors today are respected according to the size of their jeeps. It is now jeep collect onto jeep instead of jeep collect onto deep.
Buzz.
It's so sad. That same, you said the same scripture that says, "None shall not barren." Listen, the context of barrenness must be taught. Fruitfulness is not in its entirety with the biological children you have.
Thank you.
People need to begin to understand. Do you know how many children Mother Teresa adopted before she died? Listen, that woman died in 2010. She still won the award, global award, Woman of the Century, to the point that anemia and India, they are fighting because of her gravesite, that they have to remove it from this country because of the tourist attraction. Somebody is living, is alive, nobody knows you on your street. You have not attracted any change or any vision to any human being. We need to, in our, religious centers, any schools, we need to begin to teach people what is success. Is marriage success? Is marriage a success that because you are married, we have reduced life to the point that Mrs. is what make people to respect you.
Even if they're are suffering in the marriage.
Even when they are suffering in the marriage. Please, by this, I'm not against marriage. Please, before you drag me.
Caveat.
Caveat, thank you. But I need to let you know. Listen, in Luke chapter 12, Jesus was saying something. He said the quality of a man is not in the abundance of what he possesses. Not in your G-Wagon or where you stay. No. But what do you produce? What is the productivity and profitability when you are alive? Somebody is dead 30, 40, 50 years ago. His name is still giving money to his children. His name is still opening doors for grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But you are somewhere, nothing is done. Excuse me. Any bimo omonio sin, any tio bimo omonio sin. How many children did All Well had? But look how beautiful that burial ceremony was. How it was teary for me.
Yes.
I watched it. It was teary for me, and if there is only thing you are doing in this world as your assignment, your purpose is to impact lives. Excuse me. Go ahead and do it, Ronke.
Ronke, you know, one of the things that I looked at was that when she was alive, if we were to do the top 10 actresses or directors in Nollywood, she probably will make the first 10.
Yeah, but go and check the testimonies after. You will be amazed.
She worked in the shadows a lot, you know, and it was amazing. I mean, most of us really discovered her a lot more, you know, after she
passed.
I love your advocacy. Let me just say that, because we are born into a programming. We are conditioned in society to have certain metrics that we say are successful.
And if that doesn't happen,
if it doesn't happen,
you
we want to. So women and people need to start defining what success is. Yeah. If you don't marry, they will say you didn't marry. If you don't have children, they say you don't have children. If you have children, if you don't have boy, they will say you don't have boy. If you have only girls, if you have only boys, it's never enough. There's always an issue. So you must, like she did, carve your own path. Yeah. I work as a parenting practitioner. I've worked with clients that they are not happy being parents. They just had to be parents. And that's the society that we are in. It's not everybody that was born. It's not an innate thing to want to be a parent. Yeah. But society wants us to be parents. Yeah. And this is not necessarily the way it should be. We must live a life of purpose. We must understand purpose. What does purpose mean to you? If we ask what purpose means on this table, it means different things to different, and that's what we must stick to. Yeah. We must raise children to understand what purpose means. What are we leaving behind? So many people have children that they don't even see eye to eye. Yeah.
That's true.
They don't see eye to eye. They will die. It's only because of that death that they came together. After that, he let it down. That's the end of it. So we are performing to society, and we must stop performing. We must change the narrative. You will see people that are 40, 50, milestone birthday. They will not have it because they don't have husband or wife or something like that. Stop dancing to the opinion of others. They don't really, truly care. They will just talk and move on. Yeah. Live a life of purpose. Stick to your guns. Stick to what it is that you believe is purpose.
Face your assignment.
Face your assignment. So help us, God.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone. If death doesn't cause us to reflect and put our lives in order, it is doubtful that anything else will.
Whilst that may be true, Funke, I will wager that perhaps tales of economic success might do the trick. The Nigerian tech community is currently buzzing with excitement, and it is for a good reason. Two young Nigerians, Nathan Nwachukwu, 22-year-old, and Maxwell Maduka, 24-year-old, just raised $11.75 million for their defense tech startup, a hardware-heavy, capital-intensive core manufacturing startup, Terra Industries. Since the announcement, tech communities have been abuzz. Investors are wondering how they missed the opportunity, while deep tech enthusiasts feel validated. But the most critical conversation we must have beyond the capital is why the round was led by 8 VC, backed by other US giants. with no visible local investor participation. For too long, the narrative of innovation in Nigeria has lived in PowerPoint presentations and code snippets, forgetting that the problems facing our continent are physical: insecurity, energy deficits, logistics, and crumbling infrastructure. These can only be solved through deep tech innovations, grounded in scientific and engineering research that require patient capital and long-term investors who understand that while the R&D cycle is long, the unique advantage presented by successful hardware play is nearly impenetrable. To those wishing they had participated, stop wishing and start scouting. There are many more terahaptics currently tinkering in hubs from Ilorin to Abuja. But to find them, we need to look beyond just software and start looking at real innovation built on deep research and tangible technology. We need to prioritize investments that build manufacturing plants, create high-skilled engineering jobs, and produce physical goods. Nathan and Max have done more than just raise money. They have validated a model most local investors are wary of, and they have given hope to the innovators in the African deep tech space. They are now the poster children for African deep tech, but they cannot be the only ones. We need their evangelism, but more importantly, we need our local investors to provide the fuel for the next generation of builders. The future is hard. Will you be a part of it, or will you be watching from the sidelines again?
The question you asked, which jumps at me in your monologue, was when you said the most critical conversation we must have beyond the capital is why the round was led by 8 VCs, backed by other US giants, and no visible local investment participation. You know the reason why?
We don't have money.
Look, the Nigerian investor doesn't believe in Nigeria. That's
Except Alaji.
yes. They don't necessarily believe in Nigeria. And in Nigerians, I'm happy for these 2 young guys. But you see, there are loads of young men like this in places all around this nation. In the same Makoko, for instance, that they are demolishing, all right, that have ideas, they're bursting with ideas, all right, that have no forms of support. They don't even need to raise $11 million. Some of them, all they need is $50,000. They are fine with it. But the Nigerian investor, all right, who is probably holding, shares in some of all these finance services sector, they will come after me anyway. They know themselves. They would rather invest in certain, fintechs and all that, and neglect these guys. We need to shape up. There are a lot of all these kids all over the place. I speak, I speak about this passionately because I've experienced it. Especially with my daughter. I mean, you had a situation where you had a 14-year-old girl by herself, worked on, coded, wrote the codes, and designed an app. Okay, put it on iPhones, I whatever, and all that, and it was picked up by some tech hubs, and it was amplified and everything. I personally, okay, because she had this tech thing that she had to do at Yale, and Yale University said to her that, look, you need the support of your local institutions. So Yale themselves provided the template to write to Nigerian institutions. I was the one that prepared the letters to all the Nigerian major banks.
Did they respond?
Only one did. And I'll mention their name, Keystone Bank. They gave her $10,000.
Thank you. See, our youths are making us proud. Let's clap for them in the first place. Trust me.
We, the youth.
If I hear.
I am currently identifying as a youth.
And part of this Yinka's daughter, God bless her wherever she is. God bless her and all our children.
Amen.
You see, beyond innovation and programming, we need productions and manufacturing. One day, I sat in the car and I checked all the markets in Lagos, around Lagos. And the only thing I could see is trading, selling, trading, selling, trading, selling. China is not just selling, they are producing. They are manufacturing. When are we going to get to that level? I tell you, I was having a conversation with a guy about investment in 2026. I was trying to draw graph and see where you can put some small change, you know. And this guy spoke to me about sound and lights, and he told me that in December alone, at his own level, small level, that he gave the investor, the person who gave him the whatever, 15M in 3 weeks. Entertainment is bigger than what you can think. But guess what? We have other intellectual properties, other areas that are bigger. I mentioned mining the other time, agric the other time, because the way they are changing and shaping the culture of our children is dangerous. If we don't train them, teach them capacity building, they will become lazy in future, according to late President Muhammadu Buhari. God bless them.
As an add-on to what you said, it is what we incentivize that the younger people embrace. So if we keep incentivizing the things that don't align with our values, that is what the younger generation are going to consider normal, embrace. Thank you.
I like what you wrote here. For too long, the narrative of innovation in Nigeria has lived in PowerPoints. It's a very powerful statement to make because PowerPoint presentations, because it captures what we do. It looks like you were the one who said, Ronke, who said we're just performing. We perform these things just so people know that we know. But, you know, taking it further, that's where the problem is. And Zumah, you talked about the next generation of builders. How would we do that when these same budgets, I come back to you, Yinka, this same budget does not even recognize creativity and innovation. You will never see them say, oh, this year we want to aspire to go to the moon, you know, to have this in the orbit or to have that in the orbit or to support this kind of research in the universities. I don't understand. So then, we need our local investors to provide the fuel for the next generation of builders. I'm quoting you, Zumah. And that's exactly what we need. We need to stop wishing and start doing.
I'm so proud of those boys. I went online and I checked them and I was so excited. I shared with the young people in my circle of influence. And I'm so proud of them. And I'm asking that how many blogs made noise about it?
Oh, no, when they are not whiskey.
You know, how much noise did we hear about something like this so that it can inspire other people?
How many Ministry of Tech, Science and Technology, Education invited them?
To do anything.
Yes.
You see, we are not rooted and we don't take pride in our own generally. And we must. It's still this post-colonial issue that we struggle with as Nigerians. Everything has to be foreign. When these people have foreign investors, it validates well. And then they start running and trying to be. But why must it be a foreigner first? It's still this our mentality, this our colonized minds. I looked at their videos. I saw their factory. I saw the drones. I couldn't believe it. Here, inside this Nigeria, there's hope. You know, I was so elevated in my spirit. I was so excited. I mean,
and there are many of them.
There are so many. I know Very Dark Man the other day, he was trying to support a boy that was also creating one or two things, trying to support. But we need more people. You said $50,000. Some people don't even need $50,000. I'm telling you that 500K gone. Let's not even in Naira. And they will start making a difference in terms of manufacturing. These are so many things that we can do in our society. But we are not allowing our minds to do these things for us. We are stuck on religion. We are stuck on things that don't matter. Entertainment, as Uncle Gbenga said, you know, things. Let us take pride in being Nigerian, being African, our own things. Let us validate ourselves internally. That's why I like Judy. He keeps saying it. Let us make the noise, and then they will hear us, and then pay attention. Stop going outside to seek validation from other people. So I'll end there.
When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. As our parents once challenged us, those who are coming out on top don't have two heads, do they?
Two heads, Zumah. Some of us are scoring own goals with our one head and two legs. Oh. we better beware, or it will soon be game over like Morocco and Senegal. Detty December didn't become a global phenomenon because we had structure. It blew up in spite of the structure we didn't have. It was pure cultural energy, Nigerian flavor, diaspora hype, nightlife innovation, and that unbeatable Lagos chaos and magic blend, including traffic. We accidentally stumbled into $1 billion seasonal economy, and then we overplayed our hand. What we are watching now is the slow death of an opportunity Nigeria wasn't disciplined enough to protect. Operators are pricing like the goal is to retire in 1 December. Hotels and shortlets are charging like they struck crude oil in their tap water. Concerts are demanding London prices for experiences that sometimes struggle to meet community center standards. Everywhere you turn, there is a Forex excuse slapped on cocktails, cabanas, and even customer service that doesn't service anybody. Meanwhile, quality is dropping and chaos is rising. And while we are busy squeezing visitors, other African destinations are quietly securing the bag. Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa, even Benin Republic. They are doing what we refuse to do, curating intentional experiences, stabilizing pricing, tightening safety, and building integrated tourism ecosystems that make visitors feel respected and not exploited. Here's the truth seasoned consultants already know. No market survives where value collapses and prices climb. Diasporans won't keep subsidizing inefficiency out of nostalgia. Tourists will always choose destinations where their money feels sane, not ambushed by greed. We still have no policy regulating seasonal pricing, no incentive architecture for operators, no coordinated national events calendar, no December tourism blueprint linking transport, policing, hospitality, and experience design together. None. If we don't inject policy discipline, customer experience discipline, and ecosystem thinking, the December dollars we are banking on will keep flying literally to economies offering structured value at sensible spend. Because markets behave just like people, they stay where they are valued and bounce where they are not. If we don't fix the fundamentals, Detty December will soon become a cautionary tale on how a generation let greed suffocate $1 billion seasonal economy before it ever mature. And honestly, the signs are not subtle. Our visitors are already voting with their passports, and the exit queue is getting longer.
I love this advocacy, and about time somebody spoke to the greed that has come to define Detty December in Nigeria. It's a story of how Nigerians have not been able to manage success and wealth. Just as you said there is no policy regulating seasonal pricing. All that we think we have gained, the visibility, the global visibility at December, we are letting greed pull the plug on us. And it's not, look, shortlets, where the prices of shortlets skyrocketed. I mean, how? And this is what has trickled down to even our own individual lives outside Detty December. So now, for you to get a 2-bedroom flat or a 3-bedroom flat, you have to probably rob a bank because everyone is just going high. The question is, where are people getting this money? And you said something in your monologue. You said people are already voting with their passports. Yeah. They're saying, what's there in going to Nigeria? I can have peace of mind, good traffic if I go to Benin Republic. If I go to Rwanda, if I go to South Africa, maybe not South Africa, but if I go to, because there's violence there. I live there, I know. You know, so the truth, you have spoken really to the truth. We need to, what Yorubas call, play or dofinuwa. We need to really deeply reflect and ask ourselves, are we sustaining this Detty December, or are we throwing it away? Because next December might not be we might not thrive like this.
Absolutely, Funke. Gaskia, we did overplay our hand. Compared to last year, compared to the year before, last year's December, the experience was very made. And despite all the noise we made all through the year, yes,
Detty December.
I'm a bona fide participant, but then the quality of experience compared to the year before wasn't as great. And it got to a point that the diasporans who came were like, so how do you guys survive in this country? Why is everything so expensive? I'm like, okay, this is not the norm. This is curated for you guys. But we live here, you know, this is not the norm. This is just an experience we are living above our means right now. You know, January, there will be a hard reset. But it's very important for us, like you said, to reflect on what it is we want to be known for. And then the quality of experience we want to be delivering to the world. Yeah. The year before, you know, it was organic. There wasn't a lot of greed involved. But it was like everybody was preparing for the amounts of greed. You know, I moved into an apartment middle of December. I moved today. The following day, the previous occupants moved out because I was sick and tired of paying for short. I mean, I was one that they jacked up the price times 3. It was maddening. I was like, they were like, oh, we need to do. I said, don't do any check. I'm going to move in. You can be checking and, you know, fixing around me.
It was disappointing.
That's the word.
It was very disappointing.
Right
what made it more disappointing was because we had an entire year to plan for it. A few weeks to December, they started this, this Lekki
corridor with their prices of shortlets.
You know, they started doing all this, the roads.
But they paused it.
You know, yes, they stopped it at the end of the day, but the disruption that caused in the first place, because a lot of people were like, you know, why should why do we even need to come around for this? It was very, very disappointing. And again, the pricing, and the pricing it wasn't just from airlines or shortlets or hotels. We also, from things like hair. You know, my wife came around and, I mean, she did her hair. I asked her, how much did she do the hair? And I was like, this is the cost of a plot of land in my village. You know, and she was like that. You know, we were doing the conversion. The interesting thing was, I mean, we were able to do the conversion from naira to euros and dollars, and we said this does not make sense because the pricing was comparable to what you find abroad. So the comparative advantage that you have, you've lost it. The question then is what happens? What happens next? I hope we still have one more opportunity, and that's just the optimistic Nigerian in me. There's a feeling that I have that we've lost it already.
I don't worry too much about things like Detty December because personally, and I quote what I said then, it's not an economic metric at all. I saw a headline in the media somewhere. It says, Detty December 2026 is already sold out, no flight tickets. I went online to check for tickets because my daughter comes home at Christmas. You know, I went to check, and the prices are ridiculous already. Already, January. Usually I buy tickets in January for December, but it's already ridiculous. It gets ridiculous around that June, but it's already ridiculous. People will still come. But they're getting wiser, and different sets of people keep coming. You see, if you've cheated once, your love is not blind. You'll get wiser. Yeah. And what you said at the beginning of your advocacy, you said that it was accidental.
Yeah. It was.
It was no structure to it. So if it goes away, it goes away. Nigerians have this thing called FOMO. It's a fear of missing out. And we need to learn the joy of missing out of things. We just want to be, you know, Zumah says it a lot. She says, I better pass my neighbor kind of thing. Yeah. That's what is happening. But this December, even my friends, I realized that a lot of them were asking, where can I do my hair? They're not checking on Instagram anymore to say they will see some trousers and want to buy it. They are now asking the locals, I beg, because they are feeling it. A lot of them are working hard. They're not stealing. Even with foreign currency, they are feeling it. Yeah. So they're asking. I noticed that a lot more people were asking me. A lot more people are staying in their homes. Yep. Yeah. A lot of people are opting for hotels as opposed to Airbnbs. Yeah. Because hotel and Airbnb, the prices were not, you know, because they've been exploited. So Nigerians are not fools. All this, they are happening. Yes, we want to post it on Instagram. I keep saying it. Number of people that come for Detty December, maybe 1 million people come.
Yeah.
To a country of 200 million. They make noise on Instagram, blogs carry it. It's not a metric, to be honest. If we want to now make something big of it economically, we can. But with this behavior, we might not be able to do it. We will lose it.
Yeah. Question you ask your friend who comes from UK or America is this. Would you pay that same value of money for the low standard of the hotel
The service.
or the service you pay for here? The answer is no.
No, they won't.
They won't. Now, I agree with you because also I checked for ticket and I saw that already it's a mess.
It's a mess.
However, Mama mi also wípé, don't worry, I will translate. Mama mi also wípé, oye ni o kìlọ̀ fún Tobi.
Benny.
It is Hamatan that will treat the man with miniskirt lesson. You know what it means, Zumah? That you are wearing miniskirts during winter, cold winter. You will learn, and you will not learn in
the hard way.
In the hard way, yes, in the voice of VDM.
Yeah,
But you see, with time, you're gonna learn.
You're going to learn the hard way.
They say wisdom is justified by her children. We better wise up in 2026 and ensure we're at the table, not on the menu. See you again, same time, same channel next week. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us here. Cheers.
Bye.